ustedes? Bienvenido una vez más a mi canal de YouTube, Doctor Quesero TV. Tengo ciertos problemas con la plataforma, no sé qué está pasando, pero la verdad es que hoy tenemos a Gavin Webber, pero la verdad es que estoy teniendo aquí problemas con YouTube. No sé qué está, la verdad que no sé. Vamos a ver si están todos escuchándome. ¿Me están escuchando? La plataforma de hoy está muy lenta, no sé qué pasa. Estoy bastante preocupado por eso. Ya empezamos a hacer la traducción simultánea. Quisiera que me dieran un feedback, por favor, para ver si la plataforma se está escuchando. Sí se escucha. Ok, excelente. Gracias a Dios, todo está funcionando. Bueno, hoy tenemos como invitado a el influencer más importante del planeta en queso, que es Gavin Webber. Le pido disculpas a todos ustedes por el retraso, pero he tenido problemas con el StreamYard, que es la plataforma donde hago la transmisión, y de verdad que no me gusta hacer esperar a nadie, ni siquiera a mi invitado. Entonces, vamos a traerlo para que lo conozcan. Su nombre es Gavin Webber. Les participo que si quieren ver la plataforma, quieren ver la traducción simultánea, aquí en el convertidor de caracteres está las coordenadas para ver la traducción. Entren a la plataforma Streamer se escribe streamer.center y entren con el usuario que aquí, que se llama, el usuario es invitado con mayúscula, invitado 01 con mayúscula, y la contraseña es invitado con mayúscula 01. Con esas coordenadas pueden ver la traducción simultánea, porque la vamos a transmitir en inglés. Gavin no habla español, entonces vamos a hablar en inglés y yo voy a tratar de traducir algo, pero siempre vamos a tratar de hablar más que todo en inglés porque es por cortesía de mi invitado. Entonces, bueno, lo voy a traer para acá y vamos a entrevistarlo. Vamos a traer a Gavin, ¿ok?
G'day, Dietrich. How are you?
Hi, Gavin. How are you? How's it going?
Very good, thank you.
Well, my apologies because I have had kind of trouble with the platform. This is the first time that happened to me. So, yeah. Welcome to my show.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
As I said, my audience, that you are the cheese influencer, the most important cheese influencer of the planet, on my concern. And well, welcome to my show, and we want to know about you.
Thanks. No probs. Happy to help.
Okay, good. Tell me something. When do you start making cheese, and why something else?
So when and why? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right. So I first started making cheese back in 2009. I was on a bit of a sustainable living kick, and we wanted to live our lives a little bit gentler on the planet. So I had started lowering our carbon footprint, and we did this challenge in our own home where we wanted to source all our food and goods and all that sort of stuff for 100 miles or 160 kilometers from our house. And I really did like cheese, eating it. And I thought, well, I can't have any cheese because there's no local dairy providers where we were. So what I wanted to do was
so you had to make it.
So, exactly. So I didn't know how. There were no books that I knew of. I was like a bit of a virgin as far as that went. And there was a cheese course down at the local community centre, and I signed up for it, attended it, and the very first cheese I learned to make was feta. It was the course was. It is very easy to make, and but the way they taught you in the class, that they pressed everybody's cheeses with a car jack you know, the upside down car jack, and they just squeezed all of the
Car
whey
jack.
and all the fat and all the stuff here with a car jack. And I thought, my goodness, that can't be how you make cheese with a car jack. And I went home. I read the little book they gave me during the course. And the very next weekend, I made Wensleydale. And from then, I was hooked.
Very good.
It's a difficult cheese to make.
Cranberries on
The
it,
process is so long. So yeah, so from there, I kept making cheese because it was just so much fun. In fact, the first YouTube video, because the next cheese I think I made was Caerphilly, which is another English Welsh cheese. And I decided, well, I've got this little tiny video camera that, you know, I think it did 720p as the ratio. And I filmed it, and the audio was terrible. The lighting was terrible. And at the time, YouTube could only do videos in 10-minute blocks. So the video was like 30 minutes long, so I had to split it into 3 videos. And it's still there on the channel today. You can go and see it if you want. Just search for Caerphilly, and it's a terrible video. But people started watching it. So, yeah, kind of got hooked on it since then.
Yeah, and what types do you make? Mostly English ones, or you can make any type of cheese?
Well, no, from all over. So I've actually made some Latin American cheeses. Let me think. A few from Mexico. I haven't tried any from South America as yet because it's very hard to get. A lot of the recipes are in Portuguese and Spanish. And obviously, sorry?
You made queso fresco because I saw your video.
Yes, definitely. So queso fresco, I made Chihuahua, which is a Mexican cheese, like a bit like cheddar. I made yeah. My pronunciation is terrible, so don't worry about that.
Don't worry.
Queso Oaxaca, which is the little string balls made with pasta filata cheese.
Okay.
Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
it's a very good one. Very easy to make.
And yeah, so and the asadero
with citric acid.
Yeah. I made it the traditional way with cultures.
More or less the same.
Yeah, so good cheeses. So
and so you know what happens to me sometimes when I make it. You know what happens to me? Sorry.
No, that's okay. Go.
You know what happened to me when I made it? When I have made a video here in YouTube, and when I made a video and it's a failure, I say that it's a failure. But most of the time, I have a successful cheese. But people comment on it. They say that I didn't do and that I'm having an ingredient that this is a lie. Has this happened to you as well?
No, not really. I show when I do the video, the cheese video.
Negative comments in your channel.
No, it's rarely much. Okay. Not many people come back and say, no, you're doing it wrong and all that sort of stuff. I do my research fairly well, as far as I can tell. I try and find 2 recipes for each cheese before I make it. And then I compare each one to see which one makes sense in my mind, because, I've got the science of cheese making kind of figured out. Haven't done a course or anything like that besides the ones that I went on the community center. But as far as cheese science goes, I learn a little bit from reading books and understand, what the milk does when it goes through the cheese making process. So no, I can usually come back to the naysayers on YouTube in the comments. There's always some weirdos. So there's not much you can do about that.
Correct. Well, this happens. I mean, the thing is that good comments, bad comments, the idea is the engagement. Any comment is welcome. Bad and good and bad.
Exactly.
Question.
Exactly.
Do you have a website or something? Do you have a website so people can find you? on the
Yes.
World
So
Wide Web?
there is a cheese making website that I run. I'm not as frequent on it that I am the YouTube channel. It's called littlegreencheese.com. And there's lots of recipes and articles, and all the videos are there as well. So yeah, littlegreencheese.com is the URL for it.
And I noticed that you have another YouTube channels. I saw that you have just started like a blog or something. Can you?
Yeah, so I've got a blog channel. So we can. Yeah, so the vlog channel's very new. There's about 2,200 subscribers on it compared to the nearly 270,000 on the cheese channel. But it's just where I can be a little bit different because, even though cheese is kind of my life because it's part of our business as well, cheese making, sometimes you want to do some different stuff. And we do a lot of sustainable living stuff around our house. So I just want to share that with people. And that, if you go to YouTube, you can find that's just called Gavin Webber Vlogs. So very original title. So you can find it. It's just got my name in it again. So you'll be able to find that as well. And it's starting to get popular. So it's good fun.
Do you sell cheese in Australia? Like me here in New Zealand.
I don't sell cheese, but I sell cheese making products. So because I'm not a licensed dairy or anything like that, so don't sell the cheese, just sell the things. So like the the kits you can see behind me here that are on the shelf, we sell all that sort of stuff on our online store at littlegreenworkshops.com.au, where we sell heaps of craft and hobby sort of items.
It's very hard to sell cheese in this type of countries because the permits are very, very hard to get. I haven't, here. But it cost me a fortune to get them. But anyway. So hey, what is core nerds? Tell me about core nerds. Every time that you start a video, you say, "Howdy, core nerds," or something like that.
G'day, core nerds. Yeah, it was just a catchphrase.
G'day, Curd.
Yeah, that's the one. G'day, Curd Nerd. So because I'm an Australian and we have a unique accent, I suppose, I wanted a catchphrase for my tribe, for my community, so they could identify better with me and the content and kind of get hooked at that very first first 10 seconds in the video. What's going to make people hooked and go, oh, that guy's funny, but we'll watch his stuff, that sort of stuff. So I thought, well, every video, g'day, Curd Nerds. So a nerd is somebody who's into something really deeply. So, I'm into cheese making deeply, and I dare say all the people who watch my content, all the cheese making stuff, are into cheese. So Curd Nerds, the curds and whey, so why not?
Well, I reckon everybody has a slogan. My slogan is, I have two slogans. I say that making cheese is like peeling mandarins. And the other one is, I always end a video saying, eat cheese because life without cheese is like a love without kiss.
That's true. It is.
Yeah.
A day
okay. Okay, let me see what else I have here. And I have here, what is your biggest surprise lately and why?
My biggest what? Sorry?
Surprise. I mean, in any situation, when you make cheese, have you had any surprise that happened to you? For example, sometimes when I made when I was learning to make mozzarella, I didn't know that the key of making mozzarella was that to control the acidity. And then, of course, I didn't get the mozzarella, but I made the cheese. I heat them up, put it in the fridge. The next day, I got a cheese. I ripened it, aged it for 3 months, and when I ate it, it was a beautiful cheese, a different one, but beautiful. And it got a little bit of mold on it. So they have a little bit flavor of penicillin. So the cheese was fantastic. So it was, for me, was a surprise. Have this happened as well?
Yes, indeed. So I'd never tasted a washed rind cheese. So the one's made with Brevibacteria linens. So I'd never tasted one of those cheeses, and I was a little bit scared to make one. But the first one I made was called Tilsit, or Tilsiter, which is a German cheese, and it's got a washed rind and it's got a red smear all over it. And I couldn't believe during the process that it was so easy to make. And it was just the addition of this extra bacteria that I'd never used. But during the aging process, I tell you what, I've never smelled anything so terrible. It was on the nose so bad because of the smell of the smelly socks. That's what it smells like, because it's the same bacteria that's between your toes, right? And
dirty
so
socks.
Dirty socks. And then so when I went to take it out of the container to do the taste test, it was also covered in white mold. So Geotrichum candidum had got into the box somehow. I might have added it. I can't remember, but I wiped all that off, and there was this beautiful orange rind, and the cheese had flattened a little bit because it had gone soft inside. And then I cut into it, and it was just perfect. It was the most perfect cheese that I'd tasted, that I'd made, that I'd never tasted before in real life, from a commercial dairy, because you couldn't really see supermarkets selling stinky cheese like that. But the flavor of the washed rind cheese is just amazing. It just blew my mind, So, so that was a big surprise.
I see. Yeah, and what is your biggest failure?
Oh, goodness me. I've had many failures. I show them on the channel. So the one good thing about the way I do the YouTube videos, if I make a mistake, I'll keep going. I'll show that on the channel, because if people can't learn from somebody's mistakes, then where are they going to learn besides doing it themselves?
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
So my biggest failure is cottage cheese. So you would think cottage cheese would be really easy to make. However, in this day of pasteurization and homogenization, it's a very difficult cheese to make. If you, I find that a lot of the recipes are really old, and they call for raw milk, and I can't get raw milk here in Australia. It's banned from from sale. So because part of the cottage cheese making process is to let your milk curdle naturally, right, before you add anything to it or go more acidic. And I just haven't got it. You can't do it with pasteurized milk, so it's very hard to make.
Well, as a matter of fact, I made cottage in my last video, and I got it, but with very fine, because the curd was very weak, and it went into a fine. It had a lot of fine, and I got a cottage like creamy one, very good one in flavor, but not the normal cottage. I'm making cottage. You're not gonna believe it. Now that we're speaking, I'm making cottage. I have my cheese curdling in the stove. So I have to wait for 6 hours. So okay. And what is the most difficult cheese that you have made?
The most difficult cheese I've made or seen?
No, made.
Oh, the most difficult cheese.
For example, when for me, difficult cheese was to make when I started making cheese. My most difficult cheese was pasta filata cheese, because no one told me that the key factor was to manage the acidity. So no one told me, and I went to a course, and the Italian that gave me the course told me No, you leave the course. She will stretch. She will tell you when. The guy was speaking in English. He was from he was Italian, and you just let it be. She will tell you. He told me that she will tell you. And then when I asked him the recipe, he told me, no, family recipe. I can give it to you. So I wasted my money.
Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so the hardest one, probably mold ripened cheeses. So things like like camembert and brie and that sort of thing. Really, when you make the traditional like Normandy camembert, that's made with raw milk. And like I said, I can't get raw milk, so it's very hard to replicate here in Australia. But a lot of the commercial dairies around here that make things that look like camemberts use pasteurized milk. So every time I give it a go, I find that either the proteolysis is too much, so it goes really runny really quickly, and they're really runny when you cut into them, or the rind slips off, or making the cheese is easy. It's the maturation that's the hard part if you don't get it right. So to get a camembert that kind of tastes like, it is a difficult process. To get a camembert that tastes like the ones you get in the shops, in the supermarket, I had to come up and find a recipe called stabilized paste camembert, or stabilized paste mold ripened cheese. And instead of using mesophilic starter culture, you use an aromatic mesophilic and a thermophilic starter culture. And that makes the paste a lot firmer, and you don't get that runaway proteolysis where it goes really runny and you cut into it and just oozes over your cheese board. It feels more firmer, the paste develops slower, and it takes longer to mature, but you get a better result as far as I'm concerned. If you're into, I think that's the way the commercial dairies make it, so they don't get the runny, oozy camemberts and bries that you see home cheese makers seem to make all the time.
You know what happened to me when I was in France? I went to a fromagerie, a cheese store in France, and I saw a cheese that was gold medal in the World Cheese Award of the year. I don't remember the year, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I said it was from. So I bought it. No, they gave it to me because I made a video and stuff, and they gave it to me. When I tried this cheese, Gavin, it smelled like you said It smelled like dirty socks. Awful. The flavor was fantastic, but the smell was really. So no one wanted to try. None of my friends wanted to try the cheese. So cheese is very complicated, you know.
It is.
I'm gonna make a game with you. Yep. You have to tell me the truth. The first thing that comes into your mind. I'm gonna change. I always speak about cheese stuff, but I'm gonna change the dynamic of the interview. So I'm gonna make like a game. I'm gonna tell you a word. You tell me whatever it comes to your mind.
What?
Okay.
Single
and then
words,
we'll see. And then we're gonna answer just one word, and you tell whatever it comes into your mind. And then we're gonna answer the question of the audience. If they, I have seen several questions here. So, tell me a city.
Melbourne.
Melbourne,
which is in Victoria.
Okay, good. Melbourne is very good. Don't tell me that's dirty socks.
I didn't get your last question. So the city was Melbourne.
A smell. Yeah. Dirty socks?
No, ammonia. There you go. Ammonia smell from white mold.
The ammonia from camembert, for example. Yeah. A color.
Yes, yeah, when you make that. Sorry, what was the next one?
A color. Color.
Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah. Flavor.
Unami. So the savory flavor.
The savory flavor. How do you call it? Unami.
Unami. Yeah, I think that's how they say
a
it.
Woman. A
My
woman.
wife.
Ooh. A man.
Me.
Ooh. The stallion. A cheese. A cheese.
Castile Blue. I'm making Castile Blue today, so that's foremost on my mind.
Castile Blue. I don't know him. I don't know this type of cheese. I mean,
It's like it's a Danish sort of blue, a really creamy blue.
Okay, I will have to make it as well.
Mm.
A milk.
Cow's milk.
Cow's milk. This is mostly the milk that I use as well. Yeah. A challenge.
It's the only one I can really get my hands on that's reliable and works well. So, yeah.
You guys find goat milk over there? Goat milk?
There is a company that sells goat's milk called Caprolac, but sometimes instead of putting fresh milk in the cartons, they put powdered milk, and you can't make cheese. Well, you can't make cheese very well with it. So.
Yeah,
but they never say on the carton, so you can't tell.
Yeah, a challenge.
To
make the cheese that you're gonna make today.
Cheddaring. Cheddaring's a challenge.
A cheddaring is it's a challenge. And pasta filata cheese with cultures is another challenge.
That is as well, yes.
Yeah, a song.
Just Like Heaven by The Cure.
Ooh, I like Beatles. Well, I also like a Venezuelan song, a Venezuelan orchestra called Labillos. I like it. I love it.
Nice.
A dream. A dream.
Funny you should say that. I rarely dream. I don't know what it is. My wife dreams all the time. She tells me her dreams, but I just can't remember them. So when I wake up, I'm from
really
semi-conscious to I can't remember any dreams. So
okay, a love. Don't tell me why.
A love. Yeah, my wife. I love my wife dearly.
Love. Well, maybe a love when you were younger. You know.
Oh.
But true love never get forgotten.
Yes, my first love was a young girl called Susan. But I don't know where she is. I never tracked her down or anything like that. But yeah, I was 16 just before I joined the Royal Australian Navy, and then 6 months later, I never heard from her again. So
my first love was when I was 15. Her name was Carolina, and then I saw her, and then she's in Venezuela. Yeah, a liquor.
Right.
Liquor.
A mead. I love mead. I like making mead. So honey wine.
Ah, really? Honey wine.
It's very nice.
Really? I don't know this type of liquor.
Right. Well, it depends on how you make it.
A cheese maker.
Yeah. My favorite cheese maker. Goodness me, there's so many of them. I don't.
Well,
I've been trying a lot.
You can say Dietrich.
Yeah, all right, Dietrich, you're my favorite cheese maker, mate.
Likewise.
Thanks, buddy.
A kiss. There are kisses that you never forget, Gavin.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, actually, yeah, the first kiss with my wife. First kiss with my wife. I remember that a lot.
Maybe you're telling me because he's watching the video. Maybe.
No, she's asleep.
You don't want to misbehave with her.
She's asleep. It's too early on a Saturday morning for her, so she's having a sleep in.
Yeah. A superhero.
Superhero. Batman. Batman's funny. He tries to be all macho, but he's got no powers really. But yeah, it's all technology. It's not superpowers at all.
Yeah. A fear. A fear. Do you have any fear?
Yes. Well, I think life without fear would not be quite life. The fear of letting people down. So fear of letting people down is something I struggle with constantly. So when I make a promise to somebody, I like to have integrity. So I like to follow through, and if I can't, that really upsets me. So yeah, that's a fear that I live with.
Well, my biggest fear is to get sick, and we're gonna get sick sooner or later, because when we get old, we're gonna get sick anyway. This is my biggest fear, and cancer. I'm very afraid of cancer. So,
yeah, well, that's something my wife recently had to go through.
I knew.
Sorry.
I saw in your video that your wife has breast cancer. That's
yeah. She's finished. She's finished treatment now. Sorry.
And the last one, a friend. The last one, a friend.
Funny to say this. The person, well, it's not a person, it's an animal that I've been spending most of my time with lately is my little dog Hamish. He's a West Highland Terrier.
Really?
Yeah. Because of lockdown, we don't get out. We don't see many friends anyway. So, so my little dog Hamish, who's a West Highland Terrier, follows me everywhere. In fact, he was the one barking when I was in the green room. He's lying down at my feet at the moment. So he's never far away from me. So he's my little friend at the moment.
Well, my friend is my grandson, Joaquin. This is my friend now. However, he fights with me all the time. Okay, Gavin, you passed the test. You passed the test already.
Mate.
Okay, you passed it out. So, let's answer some questions.
Sure.
Let me see what we have here. How are you, Alfredo? Buenas noches. He said buenas tardes, perdón. Buenas tardes. How are you? Joaquín Esperanza. Hola, doctor. Hi, doctor. Chilcoy, from Buenos Aires. Marcos Contreras says that the internet today is very slow. I don't know why. Miguel Ateorua, we have had not too many people today because the platform in Facebook went down. I don't know why, and I don't want to leave it. I don't want to touch it that much because anyway. Marco Contreras, seguro you're in Venezuela. Patricia, hola, doctor. Greetings to Gavin from Argentina. I'm from me.
Greetings, Patricia. Lovely to see
you. But I saw questions here. Let me see if I have any. Si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden hacerla por aquí. Déjenme buscarla por aquí. Wait. I saw one. But it's wait here. Gladys Briseño. Good night, Gavin and Dietrich. Very happy to see you. Venezuelan from Panama. He said here. Gladys Briseño.
Yep.
Okay. Guys, if you have any questions, I know I saw questions in the last screen that I had, but for any reason the platform went down, so I lost the question. So you have to make them. Let me speak in Spanish. Si tienen alguna pregunta, háganla porque la plataforma como se me cayó, las preguntas se me fueron, no las tengo aquí. Entonces, si tienen alguna pregunta para que Gavin las pueda contestar, yo también me las contesto con mucho gusto. ¿Ok? Porque no las veo aquí. No las veo las preguntas. I remember the question. A person asked that making queso de mano, Gavin, is like mozzarella. Okay?
Right, yeah.
With raw milk or pasteurized milk. Sorry, he makes queso de mano, which is like mozzarella, but it's a flat disc. He makes it with raw milk. And he asked, do you think that is important to pasteurize the milk? This is the question that he had, but it's not showing up here, but I saw it.
Should he pasteurize the milk?
I have my own. Yeah, I have my own answer for that, but I want you to, if you can answer it for me, please.
Yeah,
I would appreciate
sure.
it.
Look, the only time, if I got my hands on raw milk, I don't think I'd ever pasteurize it, unless I was worried about the source of the milk, or if it was, say, more than 3 days old. Raw milk's very susceptible to getting pathogens. So if your raw milk is straight out of the animal, then, you know, make cheese with it, no problems at all. And just make sure that everything that's touching the milk is sanitized and all that. So always sanitize your equipment and stuff beforehand. I never do a cheese making session without sanitizing all my equipment. It's just so easy. And it guarantees success usually, which is good. But yeah, if you're happy with the source of the raw milk, if it's your own animal, that sort of stuff, then go for it. You get better flavor because the enzymes don't get killed off during pasteurization. The lactic bacteria remains behind. You don't have any issues with that. So yeah, if you got raw milk, you go for it. You know, don't pasteurize it unless you really want to or really have to because of safety reasons.
Yeah, true. I always use pasteurized milk. But the thing is that to find raw milk here as well is very hard because it's not legal to in America. I reckon it's legal, or I don't know. The sanitary are not so hard, so people can buy it, especially in Florida. People can find raw milk very easily. But I am a true believer that pasteurization is unless you're gonna make an aged cheese like Parmesan or Manchego or whatever.
Oh, the long aged
raw
cheese.
Milk, and if you have the cheese,
yeah.
Correct. But if you're gonna make fresh cheeses, I prefer to use pasteurized milk.
Hang on.
But in this case, I don't have to do it.
Come here. Hang on. Come here. That's not that's
no problem, Gary.
Hang on, sorry. I'm back. So yeah.
Okay, let's see.
That's enough.
What do we have here?
Right. That's Hamish. That's enough. It's only somebody on the roof.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh, calm down, mate. It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, you're working with animals and children. You know how it is.
True. Okay.
That's somebody on the roof.
Let me see.
Okay.
I don't have any questions here. No. Si tienen alguna pregunta que hacer, pueden hacerla por aquí. Algo que les esté pasando. Gavin, tell me about the queso de mano is one of the most emblematic cheeses of Venezuela, and the same as queso doble crema or double cream cheese.
Yeah,
it's like a mozzarella. How do you make your pasta filata? How do you make, and it's a pasta filata. How do you make your pasta filata cheeses?
So when I use pasteurized milk.
Roughly, just a summary or something.
Yeah, so I tend to use the starter cultures to acidify the milk, and you got to leave it for a very long time because you've got to get the acidity down of the curds down to between I think it's 5.3 and 5 roughly before the proteins will allow it to stretch. So I like making pasta filata cheeses with starter cultures because it's a more predictable, more stable product and you can age it. Whereas when you make, say, quick mozzarella, you have to add citric acid and it destabilizes the paste. And after 24 hours, it usually flattens and you can't store it. You have to eat it straight away. So if I'm going to make a decent pasta filata cheese, then yeah, I'll use starter cultures.
Yeah, true. And you know what happened to me sometimes, not roughly, when I acidify the curd with cultures and I stretch it up, I try to stretch it up with the heat of the water, or sometimes I use the microwave. Sometimes it doesn't stretch that much. And what I've read in books is that when the curd is acidified, the calcium is lost, and the heat dehydrates the casein fibers, and you have, and this is the reason that the cheese doesn't stretch. So we have to mitigate this effect, we have to let the curd the proteolysis to proteolyze a little bit, and once it's proteolyzed, I mean, leave it in a cold environment for maybe 3 or 4, and then the curd and the proteolysis will hydrate the casein, the paracasein fibers, and will allow the cheese to stretch.
Yeah.
This is what I have read, and I have tried, and it worked. It worked.
Yeah, I found that you leave it. I leave it for hours and then test it to see if the acidity's right, and then just take a little bit, put it in hot water, see if it stretches. I do a really basic method, and then once I get a decent stretch out of it, I'll stretch the whole batch. So
yeah, we're having problems with the translation. I don't know why. I asked the audience if the translation is watching here, but I don't see anything anyway.
Yeah,
whatever.
Well, I see it on the other screen, but I don't see it on, on the video.
Well, you see it's in English, right?
Yeah, it's in English. Yeah, what I see.
Si tienen alguna pregunta, si tienen alguna pregunta que hacer, pueden preguntarle a Gavin. Gavin puede contestar todas sus preguntas. También yo también las voy a contestar. Pero la verdad es que como tenemos poca gente, porque no se ve, Facebook se cayó, no hay muchas preguntas por aquí, por YouTube. I'm telling that we have people, normally I have 20 people, but the Facebook platform went down for a reason, I don't know why. And that's why we have not many people today. Let me see. Chivicoy. Joaquín Esperanza, saludos de Chivicoy. Chivicoy, Buenos Aires. I don't know. I didn't know about this town, Chivicoy. I went to Buenos Aires, but not Chivicoy. Right. Well, if there is no question, I reckon we're done, Gavin. Because
fantastic.
my show is normally 1 hour. We have to have more shows together. And hey, by the way,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a book. I'm going to give you a book.
Oh, nice. Thanks.
But let's say, flick me your address so I can give you my book. I have to order more because I send them to Amazon. And by the way, are you selling in Amazon?
No, we've got our own e-commerce platform, so we don't go. In Australia, on Australian Amazon, there aren't many competitors, so it doesn't really matter. So I send most people from my cheese making channel back to our own e-commerce store, so littlegreenworkshops.com.au, where people buy the cheese making equipment and supplies and the cultures and stuff like that. So yeah, so not on Amazon, but yeah, we've got our own e-commerce store, Little Green Workshop.
It's very hard to work in Amazon. My account was suspended for 2 years because I made a mistake when I first opened it, and well,
yeah,
now I fix it. Yeah. So I'm gonna send you a copy of my book. I hope so too.
Okay.
I'm going to send you my copy as a gift.
Email.
So thank you.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it.
Leave me your address so I can send you, and I'll send you the copy. For sure.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dietrich. It's been lovely to be on the show, mate.
Thank you, mate. Really, I really appreciate it. And we'll have to have more shows like this together and answer some questions as well. If you want, you're invited.
Thank you.
But I'll flick you an invitation, no worry.
All right. Thanks, mate.
Thanks for having you, mate. Take care.
See you later.
Bye. See you later.
I'm still here.
Let me see if I can. Bueno, no sé qué está pasando. De verdad que la plataforma se cayó el internet. Primera vez que me pasa esto con esta plataforma. No sé qué estará pasando con esto. La verdad es que no quisiera saber si se escucha. Por favor, si me dan algún feedback, se los agradecería, porque la verdad es que la plataforma hoy ha sido un desastre. Hoy no sé qué pasó. Se congeló y todo. No sé si fue porque estaba trabajando con el streamer. La verdad que no sé. No se ven los comentarios. Se ve muy poco. Estos comentarios son de hace rato. Pero bueno. Que sea lo que Dios quiera. Lo mejor es lo que pasa. De todas maneras, no importa. Gracias a todos por venir. Voy a tratar de invitar a Gavin más a menudo para que contestemos las preguntas con ustedes. Si tienen alguna otra pregunta que hacerme, con mucho gusto se las contesto. La pregunta que le hice a Gavin, que fue la única que vi aquí, cuando entré a la plataforma, fue de que hacer queso de mano con leche cruda, si es necesario pasteurizar la leche. Mi criterio es que sí, es mejor pasteurizar la leche. Sin embargo, también se puede hacer el queso con leche cruda, si es el queso de mano, él decía que si se confiaba en la fuente de leche cruda, lo que quiere decir que si la leche de cruda, si conocen al productor de la leche, si saben que la leche es de buena calidad, que es de buena fuente, que no viene de mastitis y todas esas cosas, si están seguros que el proveedor es bueno, hagan el queso con leche cruda porque sabe muchísimo mejor, y así lo hacen en Venezuela. Va a quedar el queso muchísimo mejor, la cuajada va a ser muchísimo más fuerte. En cambio, si lo hacen con leche pasteurizada, la cuajada queda un poco más débil, sin embargo, queda bien. Si lo pasteurizan por el método largo, el método largo es, por ejemplo, a 63 grados centígrados por media hora y después enfriar violentamente. Ese es un proceso. Hay en mi canal un video de cómo se pasteuriza. Mírenlo si desean aprender a pasteurizar. Allí está ahí se ve cómo pasteuriza. Ahí hay varios rangos de pasteurización. Es muy importante que ustedes no ultra pasteuricen la leche. O si compran leche que dice ultra pasteurizada, esa leche no sirve para hacer queso. Y para hacer queso de mano, que es el queso que a mucha gente le gusta, tienen que utilizar leche o cualquier queso de pasta hilada o pasta filata, como la mozzarella. La mozzarella es un queso de pasta filata. Cualquier queso de pasta filata que ustedes vayan a hacer, necesitan leche que no sea ultra pasteurizada y que no sea homogeneizada. O sea, tiene que decir no homogeneizada y que sea pasteurizada con el rango a baja temperatura. Es decir, entre 63 y 70 grados centígrados. Ya más temperatura, la leche es ultra pasteurizada y la cuajada va a quedar débil. Y por lo tanto, no les va a salir el queso. O les puede salir con una cuajada muy débil, o no va a estirar bien, en fin. Porque la proteína, con la pasteurización, se desnaturaliza. ¿Ok? Entonces, es importante que sepan eso. A veces me dicen en mi canal, mira, hice el queso, pero en el video del queso de mano, acá ratico me dicen, mira, no me salió el queso. Ese video es pura mentira. Lo que pasa es que están utilizando la leche que no es. Si lo hacen con leche que sea pasteurizada con baja temperatura y que sea no homogenizada, el queso de mano sale porque sale, o cualquier queso de queso de pasta hilada sale porque cuando yo hice mi receta, yo le coloqué el vinagre y medí el pH. Entonces, la cantidad de vinagre es la misma cantidad que el queso necesita, o que la leche necesita, para permitir que se estire. ¿Ok? Que es el pH entre 5.1 y 5.3. Entonces, esas cosas yo las consideré, y por lo tanto, cuando se le coloca el vinagre o cuando se le coloca cualquier tipo de ácido, inclusive cuando se acidifica naturalmente con la misma bacteria láctica, el queso va a estirar. Entonces, pero si tiene la leche que no es, no sale. No, como decimos en Venezuela, ni de vaina sale. Entonces, bueno, aquí parece que hay una preguntita. Streptococcus cremoris. Gladys González, Streptococcus cremoris. Lo consigues en mi sitio web, Gladys. Yo tengo allí. Es un cultivo mesofílico. Y es Lactococcus. Es Lactococcus lactis subcremoris. Esa es la palabra. En mi sitio web están mesofílicos. Búscalos allí. ¿Okay? Yo te los mando con mucho cariño. Bueno, yo creo que ya... Aquí dice que te traen leche para continuar practicando, Alfredo. Bien. Hoy vino poca gente. En general, se me cayó Facebook porque empecé tarde y Facebook me tumba la plataforma 10 minutos después. Empezamos a las 9:10, 9:15 por allí. Entonces le pido disculpas por eso. Y bueno, pero hoy el internet ha estado como loco, no ha funcionado bien. Se cayó la plataforma. Yo no sé si vieron la traducción simultánea. Yo les puse ahí en los caracteres que circulan automáticamente, le puse las coordenadas para ver la traducción. Si vieron si pudieron acceder a la traducción simultánea, por favor, coméntenme aquí para saber. Si no, para descartar esa plataforma y no usarla más. O si no supieron cómo utilizarla. En fin, yo les puse allí en el convertidor cómo entrar. Era entrar en streamingcenter.center, algo así, y entrar con un usuario y contraseña que yo les di, y con eso hubieran podido acceder a la plataforma, pero no sé si ustedes accedieron al fin. Pues si me pueden comentar, se los voy a agradecer. Aquí, Ignacio Hernández. Hice el que llegaste tarde. No, llegaste al principio temprano, pero después te fuiste y no conseguí tu pregunta otra vez. Hice el queso de mano, pero me quedó muy duro y sin sabor. ¿Qué podría hacer? Bueno, mira, ¿con qué lo hiciste? ¿Con el kit? No creo que lo hayas hecho con el kit, porque con el kit yo tengo un catalizador que mejora el sabor. Coméntame aquí si lo hiciste con qué, con vinagre o con ácido, o con qué tipo de ácido lo hiciste. Cuando el queso de mano se hace, Ignacio, con el método corto, ¿verdad? Con el kit. Bueno, si lo hiciste con el kit, hay una enzima que es el saborizador, ¿verdad? Ese saborizador tienes que mezclarlo con agua sin cloro y dejarlo 20 minutos en el agua. Y después de los 20 minutos, tienes que colocarlo en la leche. Ese es el procedimiento. Si no lo hiciste así, tienes que hacerlo. Esa enzima es un catalizador que le da un sabor más, le mejora el sabor al queso de mano. Te quedó muy duro porque lo dejaste demasiado tiempo en el suero. Lo dejaste en el suero. Entonces, trata de no dejarlo tanto tiempo en el suero. Cuando lo saques de la gasa, que lo metes en la gasa, no lo drenes. Ya lo que deje de botar agua, hasta allí. ¿Okay? No lo dejes tan mucho tiempo y él te va a mejorar el sabor. ¿Okay? Y la textura va a ser un poco más húmeda. No lo dejes tanto tiempo en la olla, porque cuando tú lo dejas en la olla, él va botando suero. Cuando cortas la cuajada, él va botando suero. Y la cuajada se va a ir compactando. Si lo dejas demasiado tiempo, va a botar mucha agua la cuajada y por lo tanto la cuajada te va a quedar más seca. Sin embargo, para hacer la primera vez que haces queso de mano, yo creo que te fue bien. Recuerda utilizar leche no homogeneizada. Es muy importante, ¿ok? No homogeneizada. Y bueno, síguelo haciendo y yo estoy seguro que te va a gustar. Yo he hecho queso de mano con el kit muchísimas veces. No solamente lo he hecho para mí, lo he hecho para otras personas. Y mira, el feedback ha sido muy bueno. Entonces, bueno, pero sí me gustaría que me dieras tu feedback. Y sígueme contando. Me puedes escribir por Messenger. Escríbeme también por la página de doctorquesero.com. Allá hay un chat virtual. Y me cuentas tus experiencias, me escribes por aquí o me escribes por Generalmente las preguntas las contesto por aquí en el programa porque para mí es más fácil contestarlas. Siempre estoy haciendo algo, siempre estoy ocupado y cuando me hacen una pregunta tengo que dedicarme y me quita tiempo. Entonces yo prefiero contestar todas las preguntas aquí, pero puedes enviarme un email y con mucho gusto también te contesto. En fin. Ok. Vamos a ver aquí otra pregunta. Gladys. Vamos a ver aquí Gladys, ¿qué dice Gladys aquí? Perfecto, muchas gracias. Voy a tratar de... A ver. Perfecto, muchas gracias. Voy a tratar otra vez. Si no lo dejé por 20... No lo dejé por 20 minutos. ¿Cuánto tiempo lo dejaste? Más de 20 minutos, me imagino. Si lo dejaste por más de 20 minutos, la cuajada, porque eso es lo que pasa. Hay un proceso que se llama sinéresis, Ignacio. Se llama sinéresis, que es cuando tú cortas la cuajada, ella empieza a botar suero. Inclusive cuando uno hace un queso normal, que lo enmolda y lo deja allí, sigue botando suero. Ese proceso de que el queso va desuerándose se llama sinéresis. Entonces, si lo dejas mucho tiempo dentro del suero, él va a seguir botando suero, inclusive dentro de la olla. No lo notas porque está la olla allí, pero él sigue botando suero, la cuajada se sigue compactando y por lo tanto te queda más seca. Otra cosa también es que no cortes tampoco la cuajada muy chiquita, porque si la cortas muy chiquita, la sinéresis es mayor y también te queda seco. Entonces tienes que cortar a 1 centímetro, 1,5 centímetros máximo. No puedes cortar pequeño, que si cortas a grano de arroz, te va a quedar la cuajada te va a quedar muy seca también y te va a quedar el queso de mano muy seco. De todas maneras, para hacer la primera vez, mira, perfecto. Me encanta que te haya salido tu queso. Eso es parte de tu aprendizaje. Ya después podrás hacer tus quesos como tú quieras, ¿no? Sigamos entonces, vamos a ver. Claro que sí. Si te quieres meter también en el programa de membresías, ahí vas a aprender muchísimo más. Por cierto, voy a mandarles un video de hacer queso con leche homogenizada. Eri Fontalvo. Eri, llegaste tarde. Ya se fue Gavin. Aquí está Eric. Saludos. Llegaste tarde, ya se fue Gavin. Vamos a ver. Bueno, ahora que estoy viendo los comentarios, yo no sé si es que aquí tengo, si es que fue que estaba congelado. Aquí tiene, ¿ves? Aquí hay preguntas de Gavin. Parece que las preguntas salieron después. Mira, no las vimos y lo corté temprano porque no vimos las preguntas. La verdad es que lamentablemente. A ver, Gladys. No, doctor, nos gustaría mejorar el proceso de elaboración de nata. Por eso mi consulta por el cultivo láctico. Pero no veo la... Bueno, fíjate. Para hacer la nata, Gladys, es muy fácil. Déjame ver por aquí. Ok, vamos a ver. Bueno, aquí viene Gladys con su pregunta, ¿no? Vamos a poner aquí para que se vea. Doctor, me gustaría mejorar el proceso de elaboración de nata. Por eso mi consulta por el cultivo láctico. Bueno, fíjate. Para hacer la nata es muy fácil. La puedes hacer con cualquier tipo de cultivo. Puedes hacerla con el suero, porque lo que se está buscando es acidez. Sin embargo, si la vas a hacer para ti, para vender, si es para vender, si la vas a hacer para tu consumo propio, puedes utilizar suero viejo. No hay ningún problema. Pero si vas a hacer nata para vender, no te recomiendo que utilices suero viejo porque puedes tener una contaminación cruzada ahí con Streptococcus aureus. Entonces, no te lo recomiendo. O Escherichia coli, si es que hay moscas alrededor y las moscas se paran en la crema, te puedes tener un tipo de contaminación con Escherichia coli, lo cual no es recomendable. Y si es para la venta, tu producto tiene que ser seguro, por lo tanto tiene que ir respaldados por pruebas de laboratorio. Y para eso, yo te sugiero que utilices cultivo láctico. y que acidifiques la leche colocando el cultivo. No importa que sea mesofílico o termofílico, tienes que meterlo en la temperatura que es. Y llévalo a pH 4.6. ¿Ok? Ya allí vas a tener una nata. Ahí sigues el proceso normal de la nata y tienes que guardar la higiene. Si no guardas la higiene, vas a tener problemas con tu producto. ¿Okay? Básicamente eso. Y cuando la vayas a calentar, cuando vayas a agitar la nata, la nata tiene que tener mínimo 18 grados centígrados. Si tiene más temperatura, se te va a volver mantequilla muy rápido. Y si tiene más de 18 grados centígrados, no va a... la textura va a ser muy floja. No va a ser dura como la nata de nosotros, que es dura. Entonces, la garantía, el truco para que la nata tenga esa textura viscosa, sin colocar aditivas, porque tú le puedes colocar pectina, ¿no? También, que es un espesante. Pero yo lo hago sin pectina. Yo lo que hago es que la agito a 10 grados. Entonces ella, claro, yo la agito a mano porque hago poca cantidad. Si vas a utilizar una máquina o un batidor o un butter churner, que es ese batidor que hace que venden, que esté fría, para que la crema se vaya espesando, ¿verdad? Y como tiene un pH ácido, va a quedar muy rica. Ese es el proceso, básicamente. Gladys, nos ha costado mucho darle el sabor ácido. Bueno, claro, porque tú no la estás haciendo, como decimos en Maracaibo, a la machimberra. No estás midiendo pH. Llévala a pH 4.6 y te va a quedar una nata muy rica. Para que veas. Y estoy seguro que te va a quedar bien, porque esa es la que hago yo. Yo antes la hacía madurando la crema por 3 o 4 días, pero me di cuenta que al hacerle pruebas de laboratorio salía raspada la crema porque se contaminaba con esporas de Streptococcus aureus y no pasaban las pruebas. Entonces tuve que cambiar el proceso y acidifiqué con cultivos. En vez de dejar que la crema se madurara sola, maduré con cultivos, la llevé al pH 4.6 y perfecta, pasa la prueba. ¿Okay? Entonces, eso es lo que tienes que hacer. Bueno, yo creo que ya hasta ahora, hasta aquí nos trajo el río. Si no hay más preguntas, lo dejamos hasta aquí. De verdad que le pido disculpas por el mal internet de hoy. Hoy fue un desastre, pero bueno, para adelante, no importa. Lo importante es que vinieron, se cayó Facebook y nos vemos la semana que viene. La semana que viene voy con un tema, no recuerdo, todavía no lo he sacado. Estoy haciendo el video ahora para que sepan, estoy haciendo, una cosa, ya mi libro de queso, si no tienen mi libro Quesos venezolanos y colombianos hechos en casa, ya está en Amazon, ¿ok? Hice un giveaway. El que compre el libro entra en el giveaway. El premio es mi kit de queso de mano venezolano. Y el sorteo lo voy a hacer. El concurso termina el 30 de marzo. Perdón, el 30 de abril. El 30 de abril termina el concurso. Y el 1 de mayo, Día del Trabajador, en Venezuela, aquí no, voy a hacer en mi programa el sorteo como lo hice la vez pasada. Y el ganador, bueno, le mandaré su kit desde aquí de Nueva Zelanda con una carta mía especial. Y las condiciones del concurso es, bueno, comprar el libro en Amazon y enviarme copia del recibo a mi correo doctorquesero@gmail.com. Suscribirse en el canal de YouTube si no se han suscrito. Y si ustedes están allí y no se han suscrito, los invito a suscribirse. Y seguirme en las redes y esas cosas y todo eso, ¿ok? ¿Qué más les tengo por allí? La semana que viene voy a hablar de un tema, no lo he sacado todavía. Y los invito a asistir, corran la voz de que yo existo, no solamente quesos venezolanos. Yo voy estoy haciendo saqué el video de cottage por el método de acidificación láctica. perdón, de coagulación láctica. Ahora estoy haciendo el video que tengo la leche cuajando con el método, el otro método, que es con coagulación enzimática, es decir, usando rennet o cuajo. Ese video sale la semana que viene. Para que lo tengan, vamos a hacer esa saga de 2 videos. Y sí, porque solamente hay 2 métodos que yo conozca. Entonces, lo voy a hacer ese video para que lo tengan también. Por supuesto, los miembros lo van a ver primero, pero igual ustedes lo van a tener a la mano para que puedan hacer su queso cottage de las 2 formas que ustedes les plazcan, con acidificación láctica o acidificación enzimática. ¿Ok? Entonces, bueno, nos vemos la semana que viene y como siempre les digo, coman queso porque una vida sin quesos es como un romance sin besos. Bueno, un abrazo y cuídense. Nos vemos la semana que viene.